Republican Atheist. And I was invited to speak here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. This is my first time speaking about Republican Atheists actually in public, so hopefully it goes well. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here. My best friend went to UCR for a few years after 2006, so very exciting. A little bit about Republican Atheists. Republican Atheists is it's an online-based organization that I launched in February of 2017, and it's focused on building a platform for those who identify as atheists, agnostic, secular, who are in the Republican Party, registered Republicans, or take interest in the Republican Party. Again, this is February 2017. Brand new, fresh, just experimenting with it now. So I'm going to tell you 3 points, a little bit about me, my history, how I came to develop Republican Atheists, and also what our goals are as an organization. So about me, I am born and raised here in Southern California. I actually went to school in Desert Hot Springs High School, not too far from here, near Palm Springs. And I also attended College of the Desert, got an associate's degree in business, went to Cal State Northridge for marketing, and then I decided to change my degree completely to geology and go to Humboldt State up north, which was really fun. I personally have been atheist for 10 years now. So when I say atheist, that means a person who disbelieves or lacks belief in the existence of God or gods. And I became atheist just kind of because I wanted to get away from Christianity. I actually grew up in a very moderate Christian household while I was younger. My family generally let me and my siblings do what I wanted. I have a brother and sister, and we were able to listen to whatever music we wanted and generally have freedom. But when I hit 18, I just decided, I don't really want to be involved with religion anymore, and it was just a personal decision for me. And so that was 10 years ago. And since then, I've been gradually involved with the atheist community. I've kind of bounced around different atheist groups and thought, maybe these people will be my new best friends. And so it's been interesting to gain insight into the atheist community after leaving the more religious community at church. For those 10 years, politically wise, I was vaguely libertarian. I actually wasn't even registered to vote until 2015. I got out of high school, and I just didn't really know much about politics, didn't have any interest in politics, and I just didn't identify with the Democratic Party. I never took interest in the Republican Party because it was constantly I had this concept that Republican means religious, Republican means Christian, and turning away from religion when I was 18, I just took no interest in the Republican Party at all. So I just would vaguely say I'm vaguely libertarian. That's kind of where I'm at. And again, I was just never registered to vote, never took interest in politics. And I began taking interest in politics, I would say, during the past 2 years. I actually am located in Sweden most of the year right now. I moved to Sweden about a year ago, and now I've been back and forth to the U.S. a couple times. And so when I was planning to move to Sweden, I started taking interest in mass migration. I don't know if any of you have been following mass migration in Europe. It's a huge topic that I actually find many Americans don't really talk about very often. And it's really interesting now to be in Sweden, and I've been following mass migration for years now. Almost on a weekly basis, I keep up with Sweden and what the issues are that's happening with migration. And so this has been a big influence on me, is migration and how do we manage migration. That influenced my political views. On top of that, I have also been influenced by the atheist community itself, which is really interesting. I personally have had conservative-leaning ideologies and views for a long time. I generally think people should have freedom to do what they choose. That comes to gun laws and just general civil liberties. And so I found that when I would communicate in atheist groups, again, I thought these people would be my best friends. And I'm involved in a number of atheist groups on Facebook. And I would would share my views, and I was kind of supportive of Trump during the election, so I would go to these atheist groups and say, hey you guys, what do you think about this and about Trump? And I was just really harassed in some of these atheist groups. It was really interesting to me because I felt that, you know, atheists, we have this foundation, right? We aren't really involved in religion, and that's kind of an underlying foundation that connects us. But I found that when I was in the atheist communities, I was just turned away. Some people in the atheist groups said I was trolling their Facebook groups when I would share more conservative-leaning ideology. They would say I've been called names in these groups, and I'm like, I'm just here sharing rational, in my opinion, you know, completely rational ideologies to me. And so the atheist community to me has become more of a left-leaning community. So that's some background about me. My political background, I registered as a Republican in 2015, and I decided that I wanted to just make a change in the atheist community, in the more secular communities who have members who are right-leaning, who are more interested in possibly the Republican Party. And so how did I form Republican Atheists? Well, so after my communicating with different atheist groups and finding out, you know, I'm not really having a lot in common with the atheist groups, I started asking around. I said, aren't there any, you know, conservative atheist groups? Isn't there? I honestly assumed it would already exist. I'm like, this isn't rocket science to have an atheist who has more conservative views. But I found that there really was no group for atheists who are conservative-leaning. And people would tell me about David Silverman of American Atheists, if any of you are aware of American Atheists. They're one of the oldest atheist organizations in the United States. So they have a executive president there, David Silverman, who goes to CPAC, and he's kind of represented at Republican events. And but that's it. You know, I never really learned about any Republican groups or groups for atheists or secular people who have conservative-leaning ideology. I was interested in this because a lot of people associate religion with the Republican Party. So I felt kind of like a misfit. So this led me to start this group, Republican Atheists. And this has been a really interesting project for me. Again, this is starting in February 2017. And I'm based in Sweden most of the year. So I'm not here in the United States. And so what I did was I started a website for Republican Atheists. I started looking on Facebook to see if there were any groups for conservative atheists, and I found that there actually were. There are groups for conservative atheists on Facebook, and they're just really underground. You know, you really have to look for them and find them. But they are out there, and they have the ones that I found have maybe 500 members each. I mean, not that many. These are really small. Because, I mean, there's some atheist groups that have like thousands of members, you know, 30,000 members. And so some of these groups have only 500. So again, I started this group, launched a website. I started sending out, I sent out a press release. I wanted to really develop an official group, something that had a foundation, you know, a real group. So when people search for Republican atheists or a conservative atheist, they find something. They actually say, oh wow, there's an actual group representing it. Instead of like me, where when I first began asking around, there was no group for it. And my goal with starting Republican Atheists was really to just draw awareness to atheists who are registered Republicans.
Oh, sorry. This is the right question. Are you still in class?
No, not
No, it's the beginning. You want to do the atheist stuff?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I should
to tell them what to believe, you know, not to drop their religion. And I think, you know, there are some atheists that are like that are pretty aggressive. But that wasn't my goal with this group at all. I simply went to build awareness and say, you know, there are Republicans who aren't very religious, okay? There are Republicans who are atheists, who are secular. They are out there. It's just that they don't really have a platform right now. And so that's what I want Republican Atheists to be. This isn't a group to harass anybody, to, again, try to convert anybody. It's simply to build awareness and let people know Republican Atheists exist. And here I am being the president of it. And so here's the goals of Republican Atheists. My first goal was to build a foundation for it. I don't want to be the president, the only person representing Republican Atheists. It's not me. I want to build a team and build something that people say, oh wow, it's not just one person, it's like 10 people at the board members. So I sent out a press release, and I actually got some responses. I sent out a press release asking for board members. And one of our board members I'm really excited about, his name is Brandon Finney. He is actually a New Hampshire state representative, and he's a registered Republican. And he reached out to me because he got a lot of press recently in various atheist news outlets because he expressed his concern about the foundations of America, and he expressed that he had atheist views. So the atheist community picks up on this and says, oh wow, there's a state representative in New Hampshire who's a Republican, and he's openly admitting that he's not religious. And so I contacted Brandon, and I said, hey, I'm starting this organization, what do you think? And he was very supportive of it. And so now he's a board member of Republican Atheists, and I'm very excited about this because he is an official voted-in representative. And he's great. He's helped us so much with outreach on Facebook. He's a great team member. Another person who reached back to me was, his name is Bob Price, and he's actually a well-known atheist speaker. He has YouTube videos, he's spoken on panel discussions, things like that. I personally had never heard about him. I have to be very honest. When I say that I've been atheist for 10 years, I haven't really gotten involved in the atheist community so much myself. I know there's a lot of speakers. I'm not really familiar with it. So Robert Price, or Bob Price, that's what we call him, he reached out to me, and he said he wanted to be a board member, and he said that he had been harassed a lot from the atheist community for expressing his conservative views. He is a registered Republican, and he supported Trump in the presidential election, and he told this to many of his listeners, and he was harassed. He's been ridiculed a lot. So he was very excited when I said, hey, I have this organization, Republican Atheists, and he said, cool, how can I be a board member? And he's really cool to have on the board because he actually has a PhD in theology and a PhD in New Testament.
Cool.
And he also used to be a pastor of his own church, believe it or not. I mean, he was very religious, this Bob Price, very religious, up until maybe his later 20s around. So, and then his views changed, and now he is a pronounced atheist. And so I'm really glad to have him on my board because he knows a lot about the Bible and a lot about the issues that I would say certain religious people like to talk about. I don't know anything about the Bible personally. Even though I grew up Christian, I didn't enjoy reading the Bible, even when I was Christian. It was very hard for me to open up the book and read the Bible. So with Bob Price on the board, we have a lot of knowledge now about biblical scripture. So that was very exciting for me to have 2 board members. I'm always reaching out for more board members. We do have kind of a step-in board member right now who's based in New Orleans, and he used to be involved with the Libertarian Party in the 70s and then registered as Republican. And so he's kind of a step-in board member, but he doesn't want to put his name out there so much because we are kind of in this I would say Republican Atheists is, I'm a little concerned about my name as it gets out a little bit more. Hopefully it won't have too much controversy. As time goes on, there's a lot of controversy right now in the conservative community and on college campuses. I read about so much about conservative speakers being harassed on college campuses during the past year. My other goal with Republican Atheists is to do more speaking engagements, kind of like this. Again, this is my first time speaking, and I'm hoping to build a YouTube channel to just do more outreach and kind of give a face to the organization and to show who we are, that we're not afraid to speak, that we're happy to speak actually, and we love communication, we love discussion, and we love hearing all kinds of views. And finally, the goal with Republican Atheists at this point in time is to simply build recognition, again, as I said, for atheists who are registered Republicans, or anyone who's secular. I do not want this group to be polarized, as some atheist groups are. I like to say we are open to all kinds of views, and sometimes I welcome people who are religious, maybe easygoing, who just want to listen in on what we do. I really just want people to know, again, who Republican atheists are. So when they're in a discussion, they can say, hey, there's this group, Republican atheists, can you believe that? It's an oxymoron. That's just something I get a lot, actually, when I see the name Republican atheist. Isn't that an oxymoron? How can you exist? And so here we are, representing to say, yes, we exist. No, it's not an oxymoron. And as time goes on, I think Republican atheists will progress. We currently don't have any bullet points in terms of what we personally support, and I don't know how far I want to get into that, because I just simply want to welcome people who are maybe who aren't religious or just don't believe in a higher spirit, but they are Republican and they are conservative. So that's Republican Atheist. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, learning a little bit about me, learning about how Republican Atheist started and what our goals are. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions, I'm perfectly open